may be a married woman today, but that wasn't always the case. Once upon a time, I too was on the dating scene, which means I've been through breakups with the tears, the torturous exchange of boxes of gifts and belongings, and the back and forth that leads to those really awkward situationships that eventually fizzle because you realize that you're never ever getting back together. You were just really comfortable with each other. But you know what I haven't had to deal with when it comes to a breakup? Money drama. Because even when I was pretty ignorant about maintaining my personal finances, I still had some really solid boundaries that led me to never tangling my finances with a partner, ever. And now that I'm an executive pastor and a money coach, I have seen firsthand the chaos that can ensue when an unmarried couple with intermingled finances finally decides to call it quits. So while you may not agree with me, just know that I've used these rules to protect myself and my clients. So if you're dating, a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, or you're engaged, listen up because here are 6 money mistakes to avoid in your relationship. Hey dreamers, and welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl Tiana Clewis, an executive pastor, money coach, and founder of a multi-million-dollar consulting firm who has made it her mission to help Christian women trapped in that 9-to-5 life overcome the money worries that are stopping them from stepping full-time into their God-given calling. Because you know, I got free and stepped into my calling, and I want you to do the same. But now that you know who I am, let's go ahead and just jump into the video. Mistake number 1 is combining all of your money into shared accounts. Yeah, I've decided that I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the one that gives me the most pushback up front because apparently I choose violence today. So look, I know you love them. I understand that you're engaged and you plan to spend the rest of your life with them. I recognize that it's easier because you live together. I even get that you may have kids, so you're literally bound to each other for life. But my stance does not change. Do not combine finances. Look, marriage is a legal arrangement that requires the involvement of the state and even some lawyers to dissolve. And that takes time and it requires negotiations. But a boyfriend-girlfriend arrangement, even an engagement, can be ended with literally saying, I'm done. No conversation, no negotiations required, just a flat it's over, and suddenly you now have to figure out how to untangle these bank accounts that you have together. It's hard enough trying to make sure that you each get your fair share of the money when you have to untangle, but what if the other person decides to drain the checking and savings accounts in order to be petty? Well, there's almost nothing you can do because they had the same access as you with no requirements to leave you anything. And if your direct deposit takes some time to stop, they can keep using your coins by overspending on the account or withdrawing it before you get the chance to do so. Now, these risks do exist with a marriage. However, you at least have some protections if they do happen. In most states, hiding assets during the divorce proceeding is illegal. So if your partner moved the money or bought assets with it, you can still have a chance of getting your hands on that cash later in the divorce settlement. So while you're married, go ahead, combine those accounts all that you want to, but until then, yeah, don't do it. Mistake number 2 is putting all of the bills in your name. I've seen it too many times to count. You decide to move in together and you have better credit than your partner, or you get some sort of benefit like veteran discounts. So you both agree to put all the bills in your name and you create a plan where they give you part of the money to pay them off each month. Easy, right? Sure, until you break up. Then it's suddenly like pulling teeth to get them to pay their portion of the bills. It leaves you either having to drain your bank accounts to pay them all yourself because, you know, you weren't planning on doing it in your budget, or seeing your credit score tank because things are being paid late or not at all. This can have dire consequences like draining your savings, causing you to default on loans, having a vehicle repossessed because you're no longer able to make that payment, or even impacting your ability to rent another apartment or buy a home in the future. Essentially, when you put all the bills in your name, you're taking on all of the financial risk. And if you don't have a written contract stating how much that person will pay on the bills each month, your options for recouping that money become really limited. So don't put all the bills in your name. Do your best to make sure that you're taking on equal levels of risk, even if it raises the bills a little bit. Before we get to the next mistake, take a second to tap that like button. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and click the big red button below to subscribe to my channel. Are you doing it? Okay, great. Let's keep going. Mistake number 3 is kind of reverse on the last one. The mistake is not having your name on the lease. Now, people make this mistake for the same reason as the last one. One partner has better credit than the other. So in order to get the best rate, you leave the partner with the lower credit score off of the lease. But if that partner is you, then you're putting yourself at risk of being unceremoniously kicked out of a house, apartment, or condo that you've been paying for. While there are some cities that have protections for those living in a home when they're not on the lease, not all do, and they can be pretty limited in some places. So depending on where you live, your ex-partner only has to call the police and you're suddenly being escorted away for trespassing. Or it can be a rapid eviction process where you have 30 days to get out when you really needed 60. The truth is that if you're an adult living in a home, you need to be on the lease to protect yourself. And if you're not allowed to be on the lease, then you need to move out on your own terms before you're moved on theirs. Mistake number 4 is financing or taking out a loan for your partner. Again, I know you love them, and I get that they need the money or that they need to finance that car, but I need you to be like the Reagan administration and the drug campaign and just say no. Look, I've done it. I've put my name on the stupid car, so I'm not saying it to judge you. But let's be really honest and acknowledge that getting a loan for someone who has already messed up their own credit is just plain stupid. Because the reality is that if the bank doesn't trust them to pay them back, you probably shouldn't either. Unless you're the victim of some major fraud, the fact that their credit is a hot mess is a reflection of their terrible money management skills. So why put your name and credit score on the line for someone who's already proven that they're bad with money? It's an asinine thing that many of us do out of love, and it needs to stop right now. I was lucky because it never turned into drama. I just gave the car back and they understood, but that's not the case for most people. The mere fact that they asked you to make this kind of sacrifice means there's a little bit of entitlement there. So your attempts to avoid or minimize the damage to your credit score can quickly transform into an argument about whether or not you love them. Or if you break up, now they're choosing not to make the payments. So either way, you lose, so don't do it. Mistake number 5 is buying a house together. Like, why? Just why? I admit I never understood why anyone would buy a house with someone that they're not legally married to. It's too much of a risk when you look at the stats. A study of 2,000 married adults who believe that they're married to the one found that the average woman will have 5 relationships before getting married. Men, a couple more. So for a woman, you have a 5 in 6 chance of a relationship not leading to lifelong commitment, or 83.3%. Why are we buying houses with someone that we have a 83.3% chance of never even marrying? You can sell the house if it doesn't work out, but at that point, you're completely at the mercy of the markets. If your home isn't in a desirable location with lots of demand and a price that makes it easily accessible to many, you run the risk of being stuck with this house and your ex for many months. And hopefully they'll continue to pay their part of the mortgage, HOA fees, and cost of upkeep. Otherwise, it's another financial fiasco that you can find yourself digging yourself out of. Bottom line, in this case, the odds are not in your favor when it comes to buying a house with a boyfriend, girlfriend, or fiance. So do yourself a favor and just wait until marriage. Our final mistake is one that should go without saying, but here we are. Mistake number 6 is sharing your social security number. Never, ever, ever share your social security number with a boyfriend, girlfriend, or fiance. Never. I have seen clients have their credit score completely demolished because their ex used their social security number to open up utility accounts and phone lines and obtain loans, only to never make the required payments. I've watched as they receive phone calls about debts that they never signed up for, but were now legally liable for because they couldn't prove fraud. These issues can spiral into expensive legal actions being taken against you because someone fraudulently opened an account in your name with the social security that you literally handed to them. Look, your social security number should be a closely guarded secret that you don't share with anyone unless you absolutely have to. And when you're not in a legal lifetime commitment with someone, you don't owe that to them. In fact, the social security number issue is one of the reasons why I don't like for people to commingle finances before marriage. When you open a joint account, get on a lease, buy houses or cars together, you make it easy for that person to access your social security number. And if that person doesn't turn out to be as honest, good, and non-petty as you thought they were, it can have dire consequences. Please, I beg of you, stop sharing your social security number with these people and stop putting yourself in financial entanglements that would then require them to have access to it. Okay, we're all done. Those are 6 of the top money mistakes that I see unmarried people make in their relationships. And I must admit that was a little bit frustrating to get through. I mean, how many times did I heavy sigh? Too many. Hopefully I caught you before you made any of these mistakes, but if you have, it's okay. I have too. So let's just go ahead and laugh at each other about our dumb money mistakes by sharing them in the comments. I may laugh, but I certainly won't judge. And if you're in the process of digging yourself out of the financial hole created by a mistake, I would love to help. Let's link up for a free 30-minute coaching call to talk through what's going on, what got you there, and what we need to do to get you through to the other side. To claim your free session, simply visit my website at www.tianabclewis.com/breakthrough. Tell me who you are, book the session directly to my calendar, and boom, pow, you're ready to go. It's literally that easy. And now that it is time to go, I want to remind you to let me know that you found this video useful by hitting the thumbs up button and subscribing to my channel by clicking the big red button below. Be sure to hit the bell so you're notified each week when I drop brand new money tips and biblical strategies to help you bust through your financial barriers so you can step big, bad, and boldly into your God-given calling just like I have. With that, I'm going to get back to work and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.